Hello everyone, hope you're having an amazing Monday and welcome to Reality Bang. I'm RJ Yohann, your host for this session, and thank you for tuning in. That said, if you guys want to contribute to our topics, have anything to say, or just want to tell us what an amazing job we're doing, you can reach out to us at 63642521 and 64. Now let's jump right into it. Today's topic is respecting your elders. We have a special guest for the show, Ann Rachel. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. So for this edition of the Reality Bang, Anne and I will be having a discussion. So we have a few questions lined up. So we'll be discussing them and we'll give you guys our viewpoint about this entire topic. So question number one. Now, what is the best way to show that you respect your elders or show respect to your elders?
You can be kind to them. Don't be rude to them. And when they need help, help them because they need it. They need help. Okay. And then, excuse me.
So basically you have to help them whenever they need help because obviously they're elderly.
Yes.
So you as being the young person, you have a lot of strength, a lot more than they have. So, you should also help them anytime. Like say if they have difficulty in lifting heavy stuff, you as a young person or a youngster, you should help them as well. So is that what you're trying to say? Yes. Or is there a little bit more to that?
You more or less summarized what I wanted to say.
Okay.
But also, and to add to that point, you can also listen to them because, it's not just the physical aspect that they need help, and they also need an emotional help, that, they can vent out to and all that. So just be that good listening ear.
Yeah, I'll build a little bit upon what Anne just said. So to me, respect is, mostly shown. I'll just rephrase that. So when I know how I'm getting respect, it's like, when somebody actually listens to exactly what I have to say and, follows through on that. So let's just say, for example, I'll give you an example of my own life. So my grandfather, he used to say a lot of, I won't say weird, but it has a weird way of impacting your life in reality. So there's certain things he used to say in very, a crypto type of way. And I'm not mean the crypto way. So, you say something, but it means something else. He won't tell you what that something else is. You have to, go through it and you'll have to find that answer. So it's basically in other words, it's teaching you to, walk through life and then figure out which path works for you in stuff like that. So coming over to our second question. Now, why should we respect our elders?
Wisdom and experience, because they're advanced in age. They've seen a lot more of the world than you have, so just listen to them, talk to them, gain some wisdom and experience from them.
Okay, so there's a popular thing. So you just said gain wisdom and experience from them, right? So now many youngsters say that, these elders of their time, they had a different era and we have a different era. So, some of these youngsters actually say why should we listen to them when they are part of that era and we are part of this era? So what do you have to say about that?
That's rude.
Okay.
No matter which era you're in, there's still some basic things that you can still listen to. You can still apply them in your life, basic manners and not being rude. And I feel like everybody should owe respect to their elders because it's what they deserve in their old age.
So,
what do you think?
So you are saying it's what they deserve in their old age. So let's just say you become old, right? So would you?
I would say that's what they
No, wait. So let's just say you become old, okay?
Okay.
Now, obviously you want people to actually listen to you and respect you, right? So is that what you're aiming at? Is that what you're hitting at in what you just said? Yes?
I suppose.
No? You suppose. I'll build upon. So yes, we should respect our elders, and the reason being, a couple of months ago, so I joined this army camp. It's part of you have to actually do it. So I joined this army camp for about 2 weeks, and I remember what he said when I was really young. He said no matter what, you always have one thing that others don't. So let's just say both of us are equal. We have the exact same things. So where's the difference there? It doesn't actually happen, right? So one person actually has to have something that the other person does not have. And so he told me this, even if all of you are the exact same people, one person will always have something that sticks out of the rest, and you make sure you have that. And I did not realize that. After I was in that army camp for about 2 weeks, I realized that I have a certain tactical ability, to predict tactics and all of that stuff. So after he said that, and it clicked at that very moment, and I was like, you know what, our ages must be vastly different, but it's always what he just said. It can work in any aspect of life. Even take music, for example. Say you play the violin, I play the violin, we play the exact same thing, but you have a different style of playing, and people love that style. So who's going to gain more popularity? It's obviously going to be you, right? Exactly. So coming over to you have an
Yeah.
point?
Also, this whole thing of intergenerational bonds, like
Yeah.
the second question that you were answering. Another point that I wanna add is that building up, like, okay, I know a lot of my friends and people who are really close with their grandparents, and just having that relationship, like bonding. Not a lot of people are close to their grandparents, and compared to the people who are really close to their grandparents, I feel like they are much more blessed in a way, because it's just a really special bond. I don't think you can
Yeah.
explain it, but it's a special bond. Yeah.
So in other words, like, see, it's what you just said is actually making a lot of sense, because when you respect your elders, you do get blessings. You are blessed in a way, because as you just said, take a difference of a person who doesn't respect his elders and a person who does respect his elders. So the person who does respect his elders, he's going to have a lot more knowledge, which will take him far in life.
Sure.
And the person who does not respect their elders, he's going to use his own knowledge, which you can't do anything on your own. You can't go far on your own. So that's coming down to the very, very main point of the day. Always respect your elders. Now, I'll come over to our next question and I'll continue on this topic. So, how should we behave with our elders?
Be kind, be gentle, use the appropriate tone and the language.
You want to elaborate on the last two?
You've seen a lot of people these days disrespecting elders, obviously, and you know how people like that are like behavioral wise, personality wise, and it's just not it's not a nice thing being around such people. So, like, see, you can't, like, just don't be rude to your grandparents. You don't owe them that disrespect. Just use the appropriate tone, respect, language, because it's, if you think about it, it's because of them that you're even in this.
Yeah.
You even have life. You're even part of their life. It's because of them. So you do owe a lot to them. So be kind to them in their old age.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you a personal example on this. So when I was really young, I used to have these temper tantrums. When I never used to get something, I always used to throw a fit or something like that. So there was a point when my grandmother was still alive, and at that point, like, I used to throw these temper tantrums a lot towards her. And towards the end, obviously, it did calm down. I started loving her even more. But now looking back at it, it kind of reflects in a way, and it kind of makes me think, like, I shouldn't have done that. Because it was her last few years of her life, and like, she left. Of course, she left with a very fond memory of me, but I wanted to create more fond memories. I wanted her to leave with the best memories she could have of me and our family as well. So that was something that still keeps sticking in my head even now. So
No, don't beat yourself about it.
no, I mean, not that. I'm just saying, like, somebody else might have the same experiences like this. So always respect people, like, no matter what, even if they are still alive, especially when they're still alive. Please respect them, because you don't want to come to a stage where you're regretting, like, not having to do anything with them. Like, some youngsters today, they just, like, walk in, they walk out, they don't spend time with their grandparents. Even their parents, for example, even the parents are elders, right? So even they don't spend any time with them, and then they start regretting it years down the line when their parents are dead, their grandparents are dead, and they start regretting it a lot. So I don't want anyone else to, especially the younger generation, I don't want them to have the same regrets, like, that the older generation did have. So always respect them, like, they deserve our respect. And I mean, if you it's a simple thing. You want respect, you have to give respect. So you give respect to them, they will obviously respect you. It's
And you
as
will
simple
be
as that.
respected too.
Exactly, and not just by your grandparents. You will also be respected by your peers, your classmates, your workers. Like, even your boss also will respect you. Trust me on that.
Another point I would like to add is practice active listening. Like, a lot of times we ignore what our
Yeah,
elders say, or we pretend that we're listening, but we're actually busy in our own things, and they're trying to make a point, or they're trying to, say something. But then when they realize that you're not giving them full attention, imagine
yeah,
how bad that they would feel.
exactly.
And that's also very rude. And I don't know, we should just practice active listening.
Yeah, I'll build a little bit upon what you just said. So, anytime your elders talk to you or give you any advice, it can even be the dumbest advice, like really the dumbest advice you can possibly think of. But always, like, some youngsters, like, they have their headphones on, they're continuously on their phone, they're on their laptop, they increase the TV volume, they increase the music volume. Like, don't do any of that. As I said, even if it's the dumbest advice, always listen, because at some point in your life in the future, it will have that effect. And, then you'll remember it, like, my grandparents told me this, my father told me this, my mother told me this, and then you have that regret. So make sure you do not come to that point of regret. So, always, take their advice, listen to exactly what they have to say. Don't, have your earphones, headphones, anything like that. If they're talking, remove it, pause the music, pause anything you're doing, and just listen. They're not going to take all of your time. You have enough of time as it is. So,
And you never know how long you have with that person, so just
yeah,
cherish those moments that you have.
yeah, exactly. And as you do, like, you'll build a lot of fond memories as well,
Yep.
and you won't live a life of regret. So, coming over to our very next question. So, what can we learn from our elders?
Life experiences, like we mentioned, like how your grandfather taught you,
Yeah,
advice. You can learn so many things from just listening to their stories. Even if it's not the advice, it's the way they handle that situation that, if you think about it, if something like that would ever happen to you, you can probably do it in a different way. So that
yeah.
in a sense, it's like experience. It becomes advice, and it would help you grow.
So I'll just give you an example of what you just said. I will build upon that. So recently we had a family gathering, like, when my grandfather was still alive. So that's recently, in the sense, like 5 years ago. So in his gathering, like, he told us a story about his various trips in the army. So they had to go to this very specific location. It was filled with wilderness. It was a complete 1 week camp. And camp, in the sense, like, you're not given any equipment. You have to create every single thing yourself. You have to go get your own food. There were trees that had various fruits and all. You had to go and find it. There were poisonous ones, and there were berries that were not poisonous. So there's a lot of stuff. You just have to use your own wit and go after it. And many of my cousins, like, we were all sitting there in a circle and we were listening to him. Many of them saw, like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? So building upon that experience itself, you can place yourself in that same experience. Let's just say something unexpected may happen. You might end up in the same situation, and you might think, okay, so he did this. Now why can't I do this? I can make things easier. So it's sort of like a cheat code in a way. So because it's already been walked, the path has already been walked, but you have your own idea about how to go about it easier. So that can obviously be a very, very vital thing, especially in your future. So it can be literally anything. It could be a business, it could be like even a sports meet for anything. So just let's say your father just sits you down and he tells you, like, you have a big event tomorrow. Let's just say it's a 100-meter dash. All these kids are crazy about the 100-meter dash. And he gives an experience from his past, and he says, like, I did not stretch. Don't turn them into your experiences in a way, because a lot of people, like, they go to the extreme level, like, like what their grandparents face, they want to face the exact same thing. So there's a lot of extremists out there. So don't do exactly what they're doing, but take what they're saying and learn from these various challenges that they've walked in life, because there's a high possibility what they have walked in life, you will also walk the exact same path. uh, it'll be a slightly different path, but those exact same challenges will come to you. And obviously now you know how to tackle it, because you have listened to their advice. Now, do you have anything anything to say about the fourth question? Nothing.
No,
Okay, so what are your final thoughts, about this topic?
show them respect. Be kind to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like as we've said before, we don't know how much time we have with them, so just you don't want them to leave having sour memories of you, and you don't want to be in a place where you regret them later on in life. So just I know it's hard also for some families because they're not really close with each other, but like just try.
Speaking about try, so nowadays there's a whole, some sort of fan thing, like, where youngsters, after they, grow up, become, young adults, and they get married, they send their parents to an old age home. Now, are you with that, or are you against that?
No, I'm against that.
Okay.
Your parents have put in their blood, sweat, and tears to raise you, to give you like the life that you had, the education that you need to be able to, grow up, stand on your own 2 feet, earn for yourself, live your own life, kind of thing. And just sending them to an old age home is, I don't know, but like it's unthinkable for me, because how can you do that to somebody who's just gone through all of that to raise you? So I don't know, like that's the time in life when they really need you the most, and you sending them off to an old age home is just.
And also, it's foreign care. Like, it's not you taking care of them, it's somebody else taking care of them.
That just makes it even worse.
Exactly.
Imagine if they sent you off as a young child somewhere else to like grow up. How would you feel?
Exactly. So the thing is, like, they took care of you when you were at your worst.
Exactly.
So shouldn't you take care of them at their worst? Exactly.
It's like, babies and old age people, they're kind of like the same if you think about it, because babies can't live on their own. Like you need to care for them, you need to nurture them and all that. Same goes for your elderly people as well. They can't, they get to a certain point in life where they can't do things on their own. So that's the time where you pay them back for what they've done to you, whatever they've done for you.
Exactly. See, it's going to be tough taking care of them, but let's be honest. You were a lot more handful than, when, like they are now. Like when you were a kid, you used to do a lot of nonsense, especially in school. Like I remember this, like when I was really young, I used to be the real troublemaker in school, like especially in preparatory. Like I used to be the number one troublemaker, and every single, Monday my mom had to come and, she had to talk to the headmistress, and she used to be, I think it's time, we switch him to another school. And like my mom used to beg her, and she used to tell, like, no, he'll change his ways. Eventually I did change my ways, but she took care of me at that point of time when I was, the most hyperactive, the horrible child. I'll say that. So, I should, and I'm not going to say that was an easy task. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, I would never want to take care of a child that was exactly like me. It was horrible.
But what do you think about parents who decide to go to old age homes themselves? There's this one elderly couple that I know. Their children are all living in foreign countries now, and nobody forced them. The children didn't force them. If I'm not wrong, one of them even asked them to come live with them, but they said no, it's okay. You go ahead, live your life. Since it's still the two of them that are still alive, we'll go find a place to stay on our own. We'll just live the rest of our days out there. Don't worry about us. What do you think about that?
Like, for me personally, if it was my parents, like, who just said they wanted to go themselves, I would, I would force them not to go. Like, I would literally do anything. I would get them a house, or, or do something like, what one American did. So his parents wanted to go to an old age home. He just bought them a yacht, and he's like, yeah, go enjoy yourself at the sea.
Oh wow.
And they loved it. Like, it was not a big yacht. It was like, a small, it was a very lovely, cute little yacht.
You're an only child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I wouldn't, send them off to an old age home, and even if they want to go, I'll be like, no. You want a house? I buy you a house. You want a pool? I buy you a pool. You want helpers? I get you helpers. Like, I want what's best for them because they wanted what's best for me and they pushed me to the extent that I am now. So why shouldn't I do the same thing for them?
True.
Because if I become successful, which I will, I'm not going to, enjoy the success alone because they brought me that far to that success level. So I'm going to return whatever, success that they have pushed me to. I'm going to give them the same level of, dedication they gave me to, push me all the way there. So, in short, my answer would be no. I wouldn't allow them to go. Like, even if they stood at the gates of the old age home, I would literally, call the government. I'd be like, yo, not kidnap. I'll be like, fence the entire area of, electrical fences and all that stuff so they do not enter that place. And even put the roughest, meanest dogs over there, so they do not enter the place. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I would force them to stay with me or, just get them a house or something like that. With a lot of help, obviously. So, anything else do we have for our closing session? Like any closing points?
I don't think so. I think we've covered most of the points.
Okay. So, I just like to, just give you a final closing statement. Again, I'm saying it again. Respect your elders and cherish the time you have with them. Because once they go and, once you don't have them anymore, you're going to regret it. And I don't mean normal regret. You're going to have the worst regret you're ever going to have. So, always cherish them, always, keep them happy and take care of them, especially in their old age. And that goes for your parents as well. So, that officially brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you, Anne, for joining the show. It was a pleasure to have you. And remember, guys, we air on Mondays at 4:30 p.m. That said, if you guys want to contribute to our topics or have any questions or just want to tell us about an amazing job we're doing, you can reach out to us at 6364252164. And a huge thank you to our listeners for tuning in to this edition of The Reality Bang, your weekly dose of youth power, brought to you by FEBA Online. This is RJ Yohann. Hope you're having an amazing Monday and an amazing week, and I'll see you next Monday. God bless you.